I was in Ireland coaching golf at a clinic. We were sitting around after.
Hold on.
That's when you know you're
Hold
legit, coach. If you go to Ireland and coach golf as an American, yes, you probably know something. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Whole Story Podcast. Robbie and Jonathan here. We are talking today about things that a lot of golfers enjoy. One, being the golf. Two, a lot of people out there like good whiskey. And then I know a number of folks are big cigar fans. So, Jonathan, we talked today with Brian Bailie of GolfCask. What'd you think of that conversation? One, how are you doing?
It's 62 and sunny here in Augusta, Georgia on the middle of February. And the only thing I'm thinking of is, do I go hit some golf balls in my yard, or do I go sit in my backyard and smoke a cigar for the afternoon? And I might do both.
You could probably do both. Yeah.
I've got enough time. I'm not a whiskey bourbon guy. I've tried a number of times. I'm willing to give it a try again. Maybe I just haven't found the right one. But I've got a bottle of gin and a new bottle of tonic water. So maybe I'll have a whiskey and a gin instead of my cigar and gin instead of a bourbon. But yeah, I you talk about meeting new people and someone you want to play golf with. I think Brian can be really helpful with me since he's coached amazing people and knows how to teach people how to be better at golf. But I think, like he said at the end, the 19th hole, right? The thing that we all, we didn't get to ask him. We should have asked him what his thought is on Asian golf, because they take it in stride where it's an entire day event. And I know a lot of us love playing golf and we try to find time to squeeze it into our schedule. But maybe next time, instead of trying to squeeze in 18, we just play 9. And then enjoy the extra hour and a half of what we would have been spending on the back 9, but instead maybe it turns into a sit around by a campfire or sit around by a fire pit or sit on the back deck of your favorite course and enjoy a meal or a snack or a whiskey and a cigar with your buddies.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a good time. I'm still probably gonna play 18, but I
would choose 9 and the porch 100%.
Yeah. You would choose porch over golf some days anyway. So
that's true too.
That is true. Get you an iced tea and you're golden.
There we go.
There you go. No, it was a great thing. Brian's doing some cool stuff with GolfCask. I encourage you guys to check it out. But it was just a great conversation. I learned a lot about whiskey and bourbon, and it did make me want to travel back to Ireland and tour the country some more. Go play some incredible golf and go visit some distilleries. It'd be a lot of fun.
Our last trip to Ireland, you were just hell-bent on splitting the G. So I don't know. Do you remember what your total count was for Guinness over that trip?
From in Ireland and Scotland?
Yeah.
I think maybe like 16.
So maybe next time we spend time focusing on different gins and different bourbons or different whiskeys.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That going to the Guinness distillery, it's hard not to get a Guinness, but or the Guinness storehouse, I should say. Yeah. Jonathan, tell everybody about our friends at Summit Golf Brands.
Well, if you're looking to hang out both on the course and off the course looking good, you can try to rock what Robbie and I are doing here. I've got probably the best zippers in the entire industry with my Beach Ratty everyday vest, along with a hooded zip or quarter zip. So always nice to either hang out, like I said, on the course. I'm going to go hit some golf balls, but it's going to look just as good in my backyard. Robbie is rocking his TKO hoodie of choice. Again, if he had 4 or 5 of those, it would be his winter uniform. So, and he's also a little humble brag there with a Lido logo sitting there on the chest. So it's not just a BestBall Golf branded one. It's got the Lido attachment. I do find myself when I'm at a pro shop trying to be on brand. And what's interesting is that almost every time I go to look or pick up something and I'm like, oh, this feels great, I turn over the logo and it's a Beach Ratty, Fairway and Green or a Zero Restriction brand.
Yeah.
So
No, when I got this, it was because I really liked the TKO hoodie I already
yeah,
had. And I'm like, I could get one with the Lido logo on it. And it
so
was my
good.
birthday. I was hanging out with Jeff Marshall. Like everything was just coming together. It was kind of a self birthday present that I got myself. And
That's
I
a good present.
absolutely love this one. It is a good present. Playing
Yep.
golf with Jeff Marsh at the Lido
On your birthday,
on my birthday, that was a good day. That was a lot
mark
of
it down.
fun. Yeah, mark it down. Every September 17th, let's go back and play the Lido with Jeff Marsh. That'd be fun.
Next time my September 17th are free, I'm more than willing to join.
Yeah, come on. Come
So,
on. Yeah, well, today's interview, yeah, Brian Bailie with GolfCask. I hope you guys enjoy. Check out all the good things he has going on and check out what we got going on with Best Ball. Appreciate you guys. Y'all enjoy. All right, our guest on today's episode of The Whole Story, Brian Bailie. Brian, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate you joining us. Fascinated by the brand you've built around GolfCask, and we do want to dig into that. But
All right.
but as we start every one of our episodes, we got to figure out, man, when did golf become a thing for you?
I was a senior in high school. I played football and baseball pretty much my whole life. Wasn't going to play college football. Kind of lost the love of baseball. My dad was an avid golfer, was in the military, played every weekend. I don't know if he didn't like me or just wanted to play golf every weekend. So when I was getting ready to go to college, he handed me a set of clubs and said, you might find time to use this. So I went to Virginia Tech. Used to very strict kind of workouts, do this and this. And all of a sudden I had all this free time. Well, I grabbed those clubs, they had a golf course on campus. It was $100 to join for the year. And I just started playing golf. And I went from shooting a zillion and not understanding golf to, by the time I left college, it probably got upper 70s, legit upper 70s, not like, breakfast balls and whatnot. And that was so that 4 years or 5 years of college kept me in college, and I learned a lot, and that passion grew from then on out. And then I basically taught and coached college golf and been coaching golf ever since.
Yeah, I saw the coach college for 17 years, but $100 for a membership during college, like that's
Oh,
the best deal ever.
it was nuts. Literally, it was right on campus. They had 18, they wasn't great 18 holes, but they had 18 holes right on campus. And as a student, it was $100, and that was for walking. If you wanted to take a car, you had to, but I didn't have any money in college, so I walked everywhere. And no, it was the best. It couldn't have been a better setup for me to fall in love with golf than that. And then I met my wife, got her a job through golf. Golf's been spectacular for me.
That's really
man,
awesome.
you want to talk about getting anybody into golf? Like $100 for the year just to go hang out with your buddies for a couple hours. Even if you don't like golf, that sounds like a perfect afternoon.
No, we as buddies, we had certain drinking games that we'd play on the golf course, and yeah, no, it was yeah. I don't know. The 18 holes no longer belongs there, or it has been moved off campus. They put buildings there, so I don't think the economic plan was very good, but I loved it.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your coaching though. You say you've been coaching for a while, and I noticed on your website, golfcast.com, you specialize in performance, short game, and putting, which every golfer can use. So how are you in this little brief interview time going to transform mine and Jonathan's golf game?
Well, what I've learned over time, when I was coaching golf, I went into collegiate coaching. Weird, again, I had no college background. Story in itself, how I got into college coaching. Then I was coaching the Division I level. What the hell? Okay, here I am. The
Where
other
was
coach
that?
and myself were really good swing coaches. And honestly, the other coach was probably a little bit better at a swing coach than I was. I was good, but our team would kill you from tee to green, but as soon as we got around the green, we sucked. Like we were 15th in the country, playing the best teams in the country, out ball striking them, but man, we'd get on the green and just get whacked. So I was like, man, I'm going to solve this putting chipping thing. How hard can this be? Well, it's been about 30 years and I'm still trying to solve it. I've gotten better at it, but so that was kind of my kind of parry inside of golf. And then once I kind of focused in on that pieces, I come to find out there's not many putting and short game coaches in the world. understand why. We're we're a small breed, and we're a breed that's not really necessary until you get in the 70s. When I got out of college coaching, I started a golf data science company with a friend. And from all the data that we kind of turned around, what we really figured out is putting is not that important. Well, it's important, but it's not that important. And improvement at the largest scale. So if you're shooting the hundreds, you got to improve 5 or 6 shots on ball striking. You're only going to pick up about 1 on the putting green. So if you think of it, best players in the world, you shoot 100, you're going to have about 36 to 38 putts. Tour player is going to average 29. So you're only 9 shots worse than them on the putting green. Yes, I know there's a lot of flaws to that, but in the big picture, you're 9 behind. But from tee to green, they're getting there in 41 shots and you're getting there in 65 shots. So there's a huge gap on getting to the green. So what I learned, and this is kind of a fun piece for me, is I work with really, really high end level athletes and I kind of get them to that last level that they're trying to strive for. So for me, it's great because I get to take all the glory, all the praise, and I'm just there for a very short time.
65 shots. Is that per 9 holes, or is that considered to be?
It depends on the player. It depends on the player, but it should be over 18 holes. You're looking at about 65 shots and then looking at 30 some putts. That's going to average you right around 100. And it's just what the math showed. So like I said, so higher handicappers, if you want to get better, be okay on the putting green, but really work on ball striking. That is key. Control variance, control those components, get better at that. And your score will drop faster than being the best putter on earth. Because again, if you can't get to the green, I don't care how good of a putter you are. You can't show off that skill.
Yeah. Well, I was about to jump to the GolfCast, but you said Golf Data Science Company.
Right.
Yes.
What is that? Tell us about this thing.
So when I got out of coaching, I had a good friend that we're no longer good friends and we're no longer business partners. But when I got out of college coaching, I was like, I've got this wealth of knowledge. What can we do with it? So we're like, hey, let's go into golf data science. So about 10, 12 years ago, we started a company. I had a good fortune in being at the University of Virginia, where I ended my college coaching career. Really knew the data science department well over there. So they did a lot of work for us to kind of help us as a young program starting. But what we did is we said, hey, I love shots gained. It's brilliant, but it's not very good on showing you what you need to get better at. So we took a different look at golf data science and we said, hey, what are the main pieces it takes to score? Like if I'm trying to predict score, what does that look like? And how can I train that? So what we came up with is a very simple, like every sport on earth, we came up with an offense and a defense. What is your offense? Your ability to make birdie, right? So how do you make birdie? Well, 90% of all birdies come 20 feet inside on the putting green. So you got to be able to hit greens. You got to hit it within 20 feet. So what we really learned the number was if you wanted to shoot even par, you have to hit roughly 12 greens and 6 of those have to be inside of 20 feet. And of those 6, you got to make 3. So you're looking at 3 birdies. So you're going to miss 6 greens. Of those 6 greens, when you chip, half of them need to be within 6 feet because you're not making a lot of par putts outside of 6 feet. And then you have to basically convert all 3 of those, 3 birdies, 3 bogeys. That's how you shoot even par. And that's what the data showed. So what we were able to do is say, by the number, what does it take to shoot certain numbers within a variance? And it was just a different way of looking at golf data. And it was a fun 10 years. I mean,
that's fascinating.
I worked with tour players. I worked with, Ryder Cup guys, number ones in the world. Like I'm sitting across the table from them. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah.
Why are you going to listen to me? But it was absolutely fabulous. And the way we thought of golf a little bit different. And like I said, I learned a lot there, made me a much better coach than I was before. Like if I could go back into college coaching now, man, I'd be disproportionately better than I was when I was actually in the thick of it fighting for national championships.
Well, that's kind of like everything, right? The older we get, we look back and we're like, if I only knew what I knew now, we'd be a lot better. Yeah.
And I apologize for all the bad lessons I've given in the past and all the wrong information I've given. I've done my
come back to Brian. He'll fix you now, even better than before.
Right.
I got lost on hitting greens. Once we started, you got to hit greens. Then it's like, well, we're not talking about me. That's okay. We'll pass that.
Well, if you don't hit greens, then you shouldn't have to pay a green fee.
You know what? True. I like that idea.
I'm just going to throw that one out. It's a new cause.
I've just recently started tracking my putts different because I typically putt from anywhere between 20 to 40 yards off the green. I've got a
Mhm.
great long game, and so I've began adding those in as chips. That way, my putting. The other day, I almost didn't putt at all because I had like one putts, but unfortunately, two or three of them started from way off the green.
I understand. No, I always say if you're going to be creative in your data input, just be consistent. Just be consistent because
Absolutely.
at least you can learn something from
Absolutely.
it.
Well, you've taken your love of golf, and we can hear that,
Yeah,
and you have another passion
I did.
for whiskey, right? And
Shut.
you've combined it, and you've created this thing, GolfCast. So before we talk about that, where did the
Mhm.
love of whiskey come from?
I
I
I
think we
was a
already
beer
heard that
fan.
origin story. That was
Yeah,
the
the
18
college buddies.
holes,
I got
three
it.
Yeah,
college.
well, no, in college I drank whiskey with different intent. It was a different reason I was drinking at college than I drink now. So I was a beer guy. I liked whiskey, but wasn't a huge fan. COVID came around. We had whiskey at the house, but once COVID hit, I come to learn that the liquor salespeople were actually, important people, and they couldn't walk away from their job. So my wife and I started making cocktails. So I started doing a lot of whiskey cocktails, and then I started stripping the cocktail away and really enjoying the whiskey. And I'm a nut. When I kind of set my sights on something and go, I go.
All
So it was
in.
about
Yep.
2021 where, the world's starting to shimmy apart a little bit, and we're sitting out on our back deck having whiskey and having friends over, and they're bringing whiskeys, and we're just starting this conversation. And I'm like, well, why does this whiskey taste different than this whiskey? And why does this do this? And then I started that process, and it's like putting. It's been a decade now, and I'm still learning, and it's a lot of fun. So I would say my true origin story really started with COVID. It was Bullet, which is a high rye whiskey, a single malt from Woodford, and Four Roses small batch. So I went in the liquor store, said, "Give me three whiskeys that taste completely different. I want to see if this is true." And the guy gave me three different ones, and damn if they weren't all different. And I was like, "Oh boy, now I need to know why." And
There
then
you
that
go.
that started my journey in whiskey, and since then I have sampled many a fine whiskeys.
So
Well, I see the
as you
bottles in the
learn, yes.
background.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, as you learn that there are differences in the
Uh-huh.
taste and stuff, like what is the education process besides go grab another bottle and taste this one and kind of make notes, or are you going to
That's a
classes?
lot
What?
of it.
How?
So
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's a lot of it. Well, you start to learn, like, certain grains are gonna give you certain flavors, like, a bourbon's gonna give you that corn, it's gonna give you that vanilla, that caramel, that traditional bourbon sense, where rye is gonna give you something a little spicier, a little punchier. I always say a little bit meaner, it wants to fight you a little bit. A single malt's gonna come in very smooth, very friendly, very Irish, and, very nice. So once you start to really sample whiskeys and start tasting them, you really start to see certain class of whiskeys act a certain way. But the fun ones are when you think it's a certain class of whiskey and you come to find out you were completely wrong, that some beautiful craftsman has come on and just completely change the flavor profile of a certain whiskey. And then, for me, I think that's the fun part now. It's like if you put me down with an Old Forester and Elijah Craig, I know what I'm going to taste within reason. But I love getting some of these craft distillers down. I sit down and I'm thinking, all right, here comes a bourbon or here comes this. And I take a sip of it and I'm like, what the heck was that? That is not what I expected. So yeah, just like golf, you got to put in your hours. Just to be a great whiskey taster, you gotta put in your time, you gotta sample whiskeys, and yeah, collect data, start to learn from it, and start to create a profile that way.
Are you like a sommelier now, though, where you can like take a sip and know it comes from the southern hills of Iowa and their 2024 corn or something like that?
No, I'm not that good, and neither are most human beings. There's this there's this wonderful book called Proof. If you have any urge to learn about alcohol and really understand alcohol, I this book is number one. And he actually talked about a study that was done with sommeliers and people that don't drink wine, and they put them through
Yeah.
blind tasting, and they were almost equal on pulling out notes and predictions and stuff. So don't believe the hype. Just like
It's a good Netflix show.
This A-frame swing is gonna fix everything, or this chipping method salt. No. But there are some really, really talented people that can taste a lot of stuff. I'm a little bit better than me likey, me good.
Yeah.
I can start to pull out some notes. But more than not, I think, if that's as far as you get, I like this. I don't know why. I love you. Whiskey is for you to enjoy however you wish to enjoy it.
So how have you taken that now multiple passions and you've
Mhm.
combined it for GolfCast? Like
Yeah.
what gave you that idea to, hey, let's turn this into something else?
I was in Ireland coaching golf at a clinic. Um, we were sitting
That
around
okay,
after.
Hold on.
that's when you know you're
Hold on.
legit coach. If you go to Ireland and coach golf as an American, yes, you probably know something.
Where,
How great is that, right?
back up.
There's no bad story on earth that finishes. I was in Ireland coaching golf at a pub. No, so we taught this we taught this big class, and after that we went to a pub and we're sitting around, we're drinking whiskey, we're stuck in this little snug in the back, just a bunch of dudes just talking, enjoying life. And I looked at one of the other coaches and I'm like, why are we not doing this? Like, this just makes sense. Why is this not something that we're not pursuing? And needless to say, we started to talk about it. And that was in 2023, 2022, 2023. So in 2023, I did what every business owner on earth should do is I said, hey, let's see if this is actually going to work. So I went to Ireland for 7 days and we went and played golf and drank whiskey at different venues, played golf, drank whiskey, said, hey, does this make sense? And I had a blast. So at that point, I'm like, this has to work. And that was the start of GolfCask. So that's what I do for my members and my patrons. I'm just not talking it, man. I'm living
That's awesome. That's
it.
awesome. So let's back up to that first trip though. So where
Yeah.
did you go to sample the different places?
Well,
And where did you play?
okay. I landed in Dublin. Buddy picked me, or two buddies picked me up, and we drove immediately to Northern Ireland. And yes, Northern Ireland is not Ireland. I know. Someone's going to listen to this and immediately be mad at me. Yes, I understand that. So we went to Northern Ireland, went to Bushmills, just because it's the oldest distillery on earth. So, hey, why not? And then we swung out of there and we drove west. We did go look at Royal Portrush. Didn't play it, just walked around. It's beautiful. Just couldn't find a time to tie that in. Then we went to the western part of the country, Donegal. And there's a couple really great craft whiskey makers out there, Crawley, The Shed, which makes Drumshambo, and Silky. Uh, just spectacular craft whiskey maker. So we went there and we played Creek Isle, which is, I don't know if you guys have ever played in Ireland, but you got to go to Creek. It's up in the northwestern part. It's a 9-hole golf course. It is absolutely gorgeous. The pro shop never opens. There's a box that you put your euros in and you can play it all day. And I mean, absolutely on the water, absolutely spectacular, and it's like 30 euro. I mean, it's nothing. But we played there. We played Donegal's golf course at, oh god, it started with an M. I can't remember it. Rose Point. So we kind of stayed in the western part of the state. So it was spectacular. But like I said, at that point, I'm like, man, this makes
This
sense.
business plan was in motion at that point.
Yeah, my wife looks at me all the time and just shakes her head. I'm like, but it makes sense. It
I
makes
should have
sense.
never let you go to Ireland.
Yeah, but that was a mistake. And I'm good news. I get to go there in a couple weeks. One of my buddies is getting married, so I'm going to be in Ireland for about 10 days, and I have a bunch of distilleries lined up, a little bit of golf as well. So,
Yeah.
working vacation.
So GolfCast talks about joining the community. We haven't even
Uh-huh.
got to cigars yet, which I would absolutely enjoy that part of the
Yeah,
conversation too.
yeah.
But golf, whiskey, and cigars, is this just like a fraternity for adults, or what do we? I
That-
mean, like where's the
That's
business
a good
model?
one.
What does it mean to
I
join
might
the
steal that.
community?
I might
Right.
steal that. No, no. So in the big picture, inside of GolfCast, we talk about ratios. Now, you might like golf, you might not like whiskey, but you like cigars. You got two of the three. We love it. There's a ratio there. As long as you have a love or a passion for one of the three ratios, we accept you with open arms. What we're really trying to do is, I'm 53 now. I don't know how many more laps around this planet I'm gonna, around this orb I'm gonna have. I only have so many years left. I can keep grinding and doing what I'm doing. I love it. I love coaching golf. I love that. But I was like, you know what? Life is about experiences. So our goal is to create avenues for experiences. And what we really want to do is have people slow down. You want to play a round of golf? play 9 holes, hour and a half, 2 hours, hopefully. No, it shouldn't be more than that, but I know some of you will play rounds more than that. If you want to sit down and enjoy a neat whiskey, you're looking at about a half hour. You're taking little sips and enjoying the craftsmanship of the distiller. And if you want a good cigar, again, that's going to take you 30 minutes to an hour to sit down and enjoy a cigar. So I guess we are anti-establishment right now. We want you to slow down, enjoy your time, enjoy the camaraderie with people around you, enjoy the experience and the memories more so than doom scrolling. And I got to go rush off to this. I got to rush off to that. What I learned from the Irish, they're brilliant. On the golf course, they're cutthroat. It's all about golf. They don't like to play fun games. They like to compete, blah, blah. But as soon as a round ends, man, they have more fun than anybody. Where the States, we do it opposite. A lot of times on the golf course, it's a lot of fun, a lot of cutthroat. You just, hey, good times drinking beers. But as soon as the round ends, oh, I got to go pick my daughter up. I got to go get the dry cleaning. My wife needs this from the grocery store. We don't do the second part very well, where we spend that time together as a group. So really what we're trying to do as GolfCast is give you an avenue to be able to sit down, slow down, enjoy time with your buddies, enjoy time of, again, just creating that experience more so than getting wrapped up in all the other craziness out there.
Yeah,
Speaking of time,
go ahead, Jonathan.
Are you have you got into diffusing your cigars with different whiskeys? Let's see it. There it is. That's awesome.
I do, and I have an old cooler over there that has a couple shots of. Currently, it has Heaven Hill in there with 4 different types of Maduros that we've been sampling. So
Ooh.
I'm a nerd. like these are the little things in life that make me so excited.
Right.
I'm a nerd. And the funny thing is, we didn't do cigars when I first started, but what I did come to find out is everybody that enjoyed playing golf, enjoyed a good whiskey, almost all of them smoked cigars. So I was
Yeah.
like, I enjoy a good cigar. I just never thought this was going to be part of it. And then it just kind of showed up in the system, and I actually have more cigar conversations than I do whiskey conversations, which is kind of funny.
I would have to guess at this point, Ryan Hardenbrook, or
Yep.
everybody knows him as Cigar Don.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a good one. We've gotten to know and hang out with him a few times. He's talking about somebody that's passionate about cigars and some good bourbon. He's and golf. Like he's, as Josh Decker describes him, he's the best 9 handicapper or whatever, because he plays at Sweetens all the time, and he plays at Sweetens all the time, and you don't keep score or you don't track a handicap from there. So he's really good at
Sweetens
golf.
is wonderful.
Yeah, it's a great spot. Well, with GolfCast, you talk about building this community, and that's what we're all about, right? It's the people, it's not the scores. It's nice to go to fun places and stuff, but it's really about the hang, which you are all about, which we really appreciate. But you're not only doing like these excursions, you're kind of encouraging this kind of pattern and behavior with golf and around golf. But you're doing other stuff. You've got podcasts, you do a lot of writing and stuff. So kind of go into that and where people can find it.
Oh God. I started a magazine about a year ago. I thought of it more as a funnel. I know a lot of really good golf coaches. I've gotten to know a lot of distillers. I've gotten to know people in the cigar industry. So I was like, hey, let's start a magazine. Why not? Seems easy.
Makes sense.
So we started a magazine. Tells you how bad of a business owner I am. I've been lied to my whole life. I didn't know that magazines charged people to be inside the magazines. Like I had no clue. I just thought they were enlightened people that wanted to learn more. So the first couple distilleries that we focused on, they were like, so send us your pricing, and they had some big fancy word for it. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like literally ChatGPT, like, what the heck is this? Like, I'm like, they charge for this? So I'm like, oh, we charge. This is our going rate. And they're like, oh, that's fine. I'm like, well, that was too low. Duh. And why did I not know that? So we started a magazine, but when we created it, I wanted to create, again, kind of like the lifestyle. So we have 6 really good instructors, a sports psychologist, 2 LPGA coaches, one's a top 100. We have a golf coach that's absolutely phenomenal that's helped my son make it to college golf. So I had these guys, and I was like, hey, I love the golf magazines, but I was like, I don't want to be that. I want you to take a topic and like write on it. Like this, like for really thinking people, right? So that's kind of how we separate. Again, we're not giving you a lot of swing tips. We're looking more at like, how big pieces move to allow people to reach certain goals. So, but we created a magazine. I started blogging. I'm a terrible writer. My wife edits everything for me. I'm awful. Thank God for ChatGPT because I write it and it comes through and just carves me up and says I'm an idiot. But I have learned a lot in writing. But I write a lot on PGA stuff, but a lot of stuff again on education, how to get better at this, that, and another thing. So I do a lot of that. So, and then I've gotten really comfortable with sitting here in my basement with all my whiskey and sitting with a camera in front of me and just talking to a camera. Because who doesn't want to see a 53-year-old fat man talk about golf and whiskey? That makes perfect sense. So I do a lot of that stuff. So there's a lot of content being made, but really with the sole purpose of what we're getting ready to kick off this year, which is called Greens and Grains. It should be coming out probably into March, beginning of April. We're trying to create small groups all across the country, whether it's a club, a cigar lounge, or just four buddies that enjoy golf, drink whiskey. We want you to start to create kind of local communities all over the country where you guys can kind of, again, we want it to be disassociated. Like we will provide everything for you, how to run a whiskey tasting or whatever you want to do. But we want to create that autonomy of people working outside with the idea of getting a lot of groups really interested in whiskey, golf, and cigars. And I do have envisioned some really fun get-togethers where we bring certain groups from certain places across the country where we will meet up and show how good our passions are. So again, just trying to create that community piece, which it's hard, centrally. So that's why we're trying to reach out to whoever again enjoys these passions, wants to meet up quarterly and just kind of expand their group. I have a couple golf pros that are going to do it, and they're going to start running some like whiskey golf weekends and stuff and kind of try to grow a brand out that way. But it could be done that way, or like I said, it could literally be 3 or 4 friends saying, I guarantee you we'll meet quarterly and this is what we're going to do. The best thing I've ever done is we have a group I call the Syndicate. They're 5 whiskey nuts, where we meet once a month. We guarantee a once a month meetup, and we sit down and we do blind tastings to get our taste better and just learn. But I wouldn't miss that group. You could put me in a bear trap. I would saw my leg off and I would hop all the way to the next meeting. Like you would not be able to stop me. So that's kind of what we want to be able to give people, is that camaraderie, that group that, there's no way I'm not going to miss this group meeting coming up. Because again, I think that's something as a society we're really missing right now. It's, Instagram is not real. Social media is not real. I hate to tell people this. It's fun, funny videos, but it's not real. So what that realness is meeting that person in town or having a group that comes together and spending that time with. So that's really where we're trying to elevate and get people to come join us inside of GolfCask.
That's awesome. And you have a podcast, correct? Too. I know you mentioned joking around down in your.
I do nothing, so why not do a podcast?
Yeah, for real. Oh, what is the theme kind of similar to, like, you bring on guests, you just talk to people about all the different things and
what I've kind of done is kind of like the magazine, I've spun them off into kind of separate identities, right? So we have a golf specific podcast that we do once a month. We have a whiskey specific podcast we do once a month. That way, if you don't really, I try to bring it all together, and people are like, if you don't play golf, you're making all these references. I don't get it. Like, so if you go into our magazine, we have a golf section. If you don't like the golf section, you just flip through, and then there's the whiskey section. And then if I don't like whiskey, there's the cigar section. I don't like that. Well, you probably picked the wrong magazine. But, in the big scheme of it all, so what I've tried to do is kind of create, a podcast that releases every Monday on certain topics. So I have the good fortune of, there's a guy named Dr. Mike Grevlis. You might want to reach out to him. He might be the smartest sports psychologist that nobody knows about. I stumbled on him a few years ago when I was working with a player, and his whole kind of rationale is about values, how values drive goal setting, how goal setting drives your ability to move forward. And then if you're a coach, if you don't understand the values of your player, you can't really coach that player, because what you say to them makes sense to you, but with their value system and what they understand, it could be just the worst combination on earth. So he's an absolute brilliant dude. So I meet with him once a month and we talk and there's another golf pro named Chris George out of Kings Mill in Virginia, and we just talk about kind of the brain and how the brain and how good training kind of, if you put the two together, how much faster you move towards certain goals, whether you're breaking 100 or trying to play on tour. We have a whiskey cigar pairing show, which is just, we call it a variety show because it's just nonsense. It's my 5 group of whiskey dudes. We come together in some form or fashion, and we literally drink whiskey, smoke cigars, and say which cigar paired best with which whiskey. It's gold, right? It's
Yeah.
gold. For at least for us, it is. And then
Honest
we
conversations, right? Like it's
and that's
friends
the fun
talking
part is
fun
because
stuff. Yeah.
they all forget they're mic'd up after about the first 5 minutes. Then I have to go back and do some heavy editing.
Yeah.
But it's fun because it is just guys being guys and that piece. Then we do, what else do I do? Then I kind of take my favorite blogs, the most read blogs of the month, and I'll read them and kind of give the backstory about why this article, I wrote it, what the context behind it was. Like, I just wrote one today on Anthony Kim. What a great freaking story. Like,
Yeah.
there's no better story. And yeah, golf, it's cool, but there's no better arc story of a player literally being what considered probably one of the best in the world
Yeah.
to gone, fighting injuries, fighting, drugs, fighting all that, and then to circle back. I mean, there's no better story arc on earth. If you're a storyteller, like, just for me, that just like tears me up just thinking about what that was. It's great to see, if Rom would have won or DeChambeau, great, but man, that story arc is spectacular. So I do a podcast on that as well. It's just kind
Well,
of following up what's kind of trending inside of our little world.
if someone's wanting to get involved, you've got expertise in a number of areas. So, what would you tell someone who wants to get involved first with golf? And then maybe someone who says, all right, I'm going to take the dive and try whiskey, and then cigars, because let's just lead. I mean, we're going to get into gambling and women at some point. We're leading all forms of debauchery. We're just getting there slowly. No, I'm
Stop
just
it.
joking.
I've had people already referencing, like, we have an interactive map on GolfCast that shows golf course, whiskeys, and we certify different places. And I've already
Yeah.
had a large list of requests of other places that we should be recommending and certifying. And I said I would not be married, so
Right.
those will never show up.
That's right.
The wife keeps me on the prim and proper side. So I would say to start golf is, I actually wrote a little magazine on this because I get a lot of people that are in whiskey and they're like, I want to get into golf. What does that look like? So I kind of wrote a 10-step. This is what golf looks like. You don't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular. Understand the game and what it is. It is a good walk. It's exercise, and it's more learning about you and the people that you're playing with, who they are, more than the golf game. And then from that, kind of just starting to hit the range, how to get equipment, go to play it against sports. Don't, like, just kind of how to walk your way through starting golf. And the recurring theme that I've learned of all of them is where most people go wrong in golf, whiskey and cigars, is rhythm. They either move too fast. So again, if you're trying to hit a chip shot and you just move too fast, you blow up the sequence and it just goes poorly for you. Well, same thing with a cigar. You sit there with a cigar and you just puff on it every 5-6 seconds and just kind of just keep hammering this thing. Man, it is bitter. It is nasty. Leaves the worst taste in your mouth. It's not a fun experience. But if you learn to find that rhythm, slow down, understand how to move, what things are expected of you, all of a sudden that cigar opens up. That whiskey, now I'm taking little sips and enjoying it over time, not just throwing it back where all I get is ethanol. That's no good, right? As I start taking those little sips, man, that you start to see what the whiskey has. And same thing with chipping, man. Once I understand my timing, and I have a really cool trick if y'all for understanding time. But once you start to understand your time a little bit better, whatever whatever your ratio is, like chipping's roughly 3-to-1, putting's 2-to-1. Once you kind of understand that time and how to move, man, it all just gets easy. Like we are really good athletic people if we allow ourselves to be. There's some that aren't, but majority of us are really, really good. We don't fall on our face when we walk. We don't. So again, once you kind of understand that rhythm, it's amazing how much better you will get better at all 3 passions. And once you force it and move fast, it's ugly.
Sounds like
Yeah.
I need a metronome for golf, cigars, and whiskey.
I use syllables for golf. Metronomes I hate because, again, I'm not the most musically inclined. So you put me on a metronome and I got to like time when I got to take it. Oh, it's a crap show. But what I did learn is you can use syllables. So a 1-syllable word like dog, you move very fast. 2-syllable word, donut. Look at me. I'm an Adonis. I like a good donut. So donut, I'm going to move a little bit. So, this is how I would teach you how would I be better at a 10-foot putt, right? Simple. At 10 feet, I can move the putter back about 8 inches and move dog real fast. Dog, right? It's short putting stroke. It's all acceleration's fine. Or I could take it back about 12 inches and go donut. Now I've changed time and I've changed length. Or I can do a 3-syllable word, Virginia, go back about 16 inches, Virginia. And if I come through in that 2-to-1 time, so if I go Virginia, Virginia, if I come through in that time frame, ball goes 10 feet. It's amazing because I've controlled length of putt with time together, and it's absolutely spectacular. So that's a great nugget for people that want to get a little bit better. And chipping is the same way. So it's a 3-to-1. So you'd have to go 3 Virginia dog, right? Because there's an acceleration piece or kind of a full swing. But yeah, using syllables to me works disproportionately better than a metronome, because a metronome, I literally look like the most unathletic human being on earth. It's not
Does it
pretty.
does it only work if you live in Virginia? Are there other states that it could apply to as well?
It does. I think in 32 of the states it's legal. I believe 1 or 2 it's not, but that's okay. I won't
Not
tell you which
Georgia, but
ones.
when you cross state lines into South Carolina, you can do it, Jonathan.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
Georgia, they only have really 1 syllable. It's just kind of
I was about
low
to
and
say,
drawn out.
dog in Georgia could be 3 syllables depending on who you're talking to.
Depending
So
on who you're talking, that's fair. That is
Yep.
completely fair.
On the whiskey side, I'm curious because you are a
Mhm.
connoisseur expert, way more knowledgeable than all of us. Do you get into the favorites of whiskey versus bourbon versus Scotch? Do you have preferences, things like that? Obviously
Yeah.
there are differences. People like some better than the others, but I'm curious what your take on all that is.
Yeah, I started with bourbons and Irish whiskeys. I would say Irish whiskeys were probably my favorite in the beginning because they're very friendly, very easy to drink. So that's a great entry whiskey. And it's going to be malted, so it's going to be some sort of barley product. I got into bourbon thinking bourbon was it. And then I got into high proof bourbon, wow, this is great. And then I discovered rye. Rye whiskey to me is the best. I love a good rye. So, um, because again, I like a whiskey that fights. So people ask me, what's your favorite proof? My proof is probably 110 and above. And I would prefer a rye or a high rye bourbon because I want something that's going to fight me a little bit. I like that little bit of meanness inside the whiskey. I love a good 80 and 90 pour is fine. There's some spectacular ones out there, but man, if you're really asking what I like, I would probably say probably about 110 high rye bourbon, like a Wild Turkey Rare Breed, or Wheelhouse or High West Double Rye those would all be really good, kind of in my zone. So I like that peppery, minty components that you get from the rye. But that's me. And like I
Yeah.
said, there's a lot of the one thing I've learned about whiskey, there's no right or wrong. If you find a way to enjoy whiskey, hey, hats off to you. You want to add water, add water. You want to put ice, add ice. You want it on ginger ale, ginger ale. You want it in a cocktail, it's a cocktail. I don't mind. But the key is we have a whiskey meal. However you like your whiskey, we have a whiskey with me. Let's sit down and have a conversation.
I love it.
do you
I love
do
it.
you have barrels aging in your basement yet, or is that something that you
No,
haven't quite talked your
no,
wife
no.
into?
No, God, no. My wife is waiting for me to buy a still, which I'm not going to do because that's completely illegal. But I would love to try it once. No, the one thing I've learned about the whiskey business is a crazy business. And every distiller I ever talk to, my first question to them is, why the hell did you do this? Like, economically, it makes no sense. Like, I'm going to put something in a wooden cask and I'm going to go stick it on the shelf for multiple years before you can make any revenue off of it.
Hoping that you did something right.
Yeah, well, you pretty much, what I've learned from all the distillers is if the distillant goes in the barrel and it's good, your whiskey's gonna be good. Like the barrel, to me, the barrel does 80% of the work. It gives the flavor, it creates the softness. If you've ever had moonshine or what they call white dog, it's very harsh. It's very grain forward. It's not the most enjoyable drink on earth. But when you put it in a barrel and it's starting to pull all those enzymes and all the different chemical interactions that are going on, it really softens the whiskey. So as long as the distillant goes in, I've learned, it's going to be pretty good coming out the back end. Now, if the distillant goes in not well, the barrel can't fix it. Like it's incapable of fixing a big mistake. But so I would say you're guaranteed that it's going to come out tasting like something that's probably enjoyable for somebody. However, you're losing a percentage to evaporation every year. It's a chaotic market. But what I don't have my own barrels, but what I have learned is I've become really good friends with distillers. So when they do special barrel picks and stuff, they'll bring me
Right.
in and I'll come in and taste with them. And, you're literally
I
taking
was going to ask
a
if
drill
you've,
to the barrel and you put your
yeah,
glass and then they put a little quart. Like it's absolutely fun. Just took 5 guys up to a little place up in West Virginia called Devil's Due. Absolutely spectacular. So if you're ever on the 81 corridor coming up through
Mhm.
Virginia going north, you stop at this little place called Devil's Due. It's like 2 minutes off the highway. I mean, they're doing some spectacular stuff. So they had their first 5-year barrels coming out, and basically they gave us the whole rigmarole. We sat down, they drilled in each barrel. We got to taste each. We got a whiskey thief where you got the big copper pipe they put down and you fill your own bottle. So we even got to take our own bottle home with us. They did it up right, but it's much more fun. It's like a person that has a boat. Owning a boat sucks, but if you got a friend with a boat,
It's a great
I'd love
deal.
to pay for your gas. Let's go.
yeah,
So I think whiskey barrels are the same way. I'll be more than happy to pay for this bottle, but I don't want to deal with that.
yeah. No giant barrel picks for GolfCast coming your way. Not yet.
Now I have talked with a couple of these guys, and they're like, we'll love to do some barrel picks with you, and that's
Yeah,
probably, I would say this year will be our first barrel pick that we'll do of some sort. I have 2 companies that I've been talking with. It'll be kind of fun, but
yeah,
yeah, no, barrel picks are cool, but it's only cool for the 4 or 5 guys that get to go and do the barrel pick. You know,
yeah.
it- and you're going to be drinking what I think is good, which as long as our palates match, you're going to love me. But if our palates are a little off, you're going to be like, "What the? Brian's an idiot," which is it's a fair comment as well. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could talk golf and cigars and bourbon all day and stuff, but let's do shift back to you and your golf game as we
mhm,
start to wrap this thing up. We
mhm.
ask all of our guests, what is the story of your most memorable golf shot?
Most memorable golf shot. I was playing a buddy in a little like head to head match. We got to the last hole. It was a par 5. I'm winning by 1. I hit a duck hook off the tee. He smokes it right down the middle. I mean, he's like, boom, he's able to go in 2. I hit this heroic shot. I think it's pretty good. Goes out and it ends up in the bunker about 85 yards from the green. He goes forward in 2 and hits it to about 20 feet past the hole, downhill. I'm going, uh-oh. Like here's oh boy, I'm gonna let this one get away from me. And then I hit the best little 56 wedge out of that bunker, landed about 10 feet past the hole, spun it back, went in the hole, eagle, game over. Just walked off the golf course.
Yeah.
I didn't even go to the green. I just walked off, and he was cussing me. But I think that was the one that, to me, for my golf game, that was the best experience, other than when my son beat me for the first time.
Yeah.
Uh, he beat me for the first time about a year ago, and he's playing Division III golf this year. And as a father, there's the only person on earth that wants you to, as a man, to be better than them is dad looking at their son. So that was probably 1B.
Yeah, for sure. Did your friend say, "Hey, I know we talked about having some whiskey and cigars after this, but I do have to go pick up laundry now." So,
Yeah, there, I don't think we talked for a couple days after that. I think my reaction was a little petty, a little mean. His reaction to thinking he had a chance to win it, and then I just snuck it from him. So no, we're still good friends today. We chat all the time, but
yeah,
yeah, that was a great moment.
that's awesome.
Always a good day. Well, another thing we like to do is a thing we call the quick 9. So just a little
All right,
rapid fire back and forth. What is the favorite course that you've ever played?
Caves Valley is spectacular. If you get a chance to play it, it's up in Baltimore area. It's like 100 members, but it's a nationwide club, so there's no one ever out there. I've had the good fortune to play out there, and it's spectacular. Irish golf, if you haven't played in Ireland at least once, you got to go there at least once. And you'll play links and it'll be spectacular. Even it's just the views and that is just spectacular. But I would say Caves Valley is my favorite golf course where I was like, man, every hole I was just like, whoa, this is
Yeah,
nice.
that's awesome. All right. Well, 1B, we don't normally ask this question. What's your favorite whiskey?
My favorite whiskey, that's hard.
All right,
I would say,
a favorite one that you've ever tasted.
oh, that's even harder. I would say I've had Pappy's, it's good. I've had a bunch of, but I'm gonna tell you, Mitcher's Toasted Barrel, their rye, oh,
Yeah,
so hard to find. I actually found it in Ireland. You can't find it in the States. It's a unicorn in the States, but I was in Ireland, went to a whiskey shop, and there was like 30 of them on the wall. I'm just like, are you kidding me?
I'll take them all.
I took 3,
Yeah,
but no, I mean, I would say the Mitchers, the toasted series that they have, they're really good. I recommend.
All right. What is your bucket list? Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, Robbie. This would be your question since you
all right, go for
jumped
it.
in. What's your
Bucket
bucket
list
list?
course.
I want to know bucket list course, and do you have a bucket list bourbon whiskey?
Bucket list course, Cypress. I'd love to go play Cypress Point out in California. I haven't had a chance to play
Right.
it. I've played a bunch of courses out there, but I haven't had a chance to play that one. So I'd say that would be my bucket list. My bucket list whiskey, I would love to get a hold of a 50-year Scotch or Irish something. Just to know that this thing has been in the barrel as long as I've been alive. Like, what is that? Like, we call those death barrels, right? The distiller is making this and we'll never see it come to fruition, that it come to full age. So I think just trying something at 50 now, it probably doesn't taste great, to be honest. It's probably a little too oaky. It's probably not the best whiskey, but to sit down and enjoy a 50-year-old whiskey, I think it would be spectacular.
That's awesome. All right, what's your favorite course that no one knows about?
Favorite course that no one knows about. There's a course here in Central Virginia. It's called Spring Creek. It was built they came in with a couple $1 million and just want to build it, and they started laying it out, and they're like, oh my God, this is going to be good. And then so 3 million became 10 million, 10 million became 15 million. So it is a spectacular golf course in the middle of effing nowhere. Nobody knows about it, but it's big bent greens, big bent fairways, bent tee boxes. I mean, just an absolutely spectacular golf course. It's a Fazio design, or yeah, I think it was Fazio. But so if you like Fazio, big greens, with humps in them, and as long as you're in the right part of the green, it's an easy golf course. You put in the wrong part of the green, good luck to you. But I would say that one is actually probably one of my favorites. That I guarantee most people in the state of Virginia don't even know it exists.
There we go.
Nice.
Who would be in your dream foursome?
Oh wow, dead or alive,
Doesn't
or
matter.
alive, or
They don't
all
even have to be
right.
Your dream.
golfers.
All right. I would definitely bring my father back. He's the one that kind of got me started, and kind of into his life. We played a lot of golf together. Of course, I would take my son. I know these are lame answers.
Totally
And then I
perfect.
would probably pick Freddie Couples, because as I was growing up, kind of through the 80s and 90s, there was no better golfer on TV, or if you were at an event to follow, better than Freddie. And if you
Big
have never followed Freddie in a round, you don't know why to follow Freddie, but he has very good patrons following him, very good looking patrons. So I'd say Freddie Couples by a mile.
Do you think Freddie uses a metronome, or does he use the state of Virginia as well in his smooth swing?
I think Freddie can do whatever he wants. He's hitting 11 woods and 9 woods and whatever. I think Freddie can do anything he chooses to.
He's
Because
got a good
again, if you
tempo.
watch his golf swing, it's,
Beautiful.
I wish I could have timing like that.
So we all do. We all do. All right. In your many rounds all over the world, what has been your favorite snack at the turn?
Favorite snack at the turn. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm probably a trail mix guy, more than anything. I really like peanuts, and then throwing some M&Ms with it. It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah.
I would say trail mix more than anything is probably my go-to. Not a huge hot dog guy, so I was never a hot dog at the turn kind of guy. And of course, you got to have a good cigar on the front nine, a good cigar for the back nine, and depending on the round, a really well positioned whiskey at certain points that elevate the game.
All right. What is your favorite golf course logo?
Wow, that's a good one. think you'd have to go back to Cyprus. I mean, it's literally the perfect. I mean, just the lone tree, like it's perfect. Yeah, my home club, it's awful. It's the worst. It might be the worst logo in golf history. I don't know whoever invented it was like went to the clip art in the 70s and said, "Ah, there it is."
Yeah.
But I would say Cyprus to me, Augusta is iconic. I would love to have a badge from St. Andrews. I haven't got to play golf in Scotland yet. I've been to Scotland, but I haven't played. Uh, but yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to really think on that one.
How
Nice.
about your favorite whiskey logo?
Favorite whiskey logo. Whew. I think if you're just talking iconic, Jack number 7 is as iconic as it comes. It's a terrible whiskey. Well, it's not terrible. It's what it is.
Serves its
It
purpose.
goes really well with Coke. It's
Yeah.
not a great whiskey to sip on, but I think iconic wise, that logo, you can go anywhere. Like I said, I've been in Ireland and there's Jack sitting on the little thing and they're pouring, like Jack is everywhere. So I would say might not be the coolest, but I would say it's by far the most iconic whiskey label on earth. It's not even close.
Nice. All right. In all the pro shops you've been in, what's been your favorite purchase from a pro shop?
Favorite purchase. Hmm. This one was kind of funny. I was playing golf in South Carolina with my son, and we played the Wizard, which is
Yep.
and it's kind of a linksy whatever. But they had this really cool hat. It said the Wiz, and I bought it just like just to be fun. And my son actually stole it from me. So the Wiz hat it was iconic. It had the sorcerer on the side. I love the hat, and my son literally stole it 30 minutes later.
That
Um,
typically what happens at my house too.
yeah,
So
but
yeah,
that was really cool. It was the only one they had because I was like, I'm buying that. And then my son was like, well, I wanted that too. And I'm like, well, tough. You were slow. you know, that's a you issue. He played the long game. He won it anyways.
yeah, they always do.
They always do.
What is one thing all golfers should do?
What's one thing golfers should do? They should appreciate the golf course for what it is. There is architecture. It was designed a certain way. You should go out and appreciate the golf course for what it is. I don't care if it's a Muni or you're playing, Cypress or you're playing Augusta. I mean, this golf course has been set up and created in a certain way. Appreciate the craftsmanship. I think too many golfers don't slow down enough to say, why did he bend this here and why is the bunkerage sitting here? Like, what does that mean to my golf game? What does that mean? I think just again slowing down and kind of saying, hey, appreciate what's in front of you. Score is important, camaraderie is important, but appreciating that hard work of having that golf course ready for you to play and somebody actually building it is spectacular.
Nice. All right, last one.
All right.
Finish this sentence. The best part of golf is
The best part of golf is the 19th hole. I'm gonna keep it on brand. Playing golf, I've gotten older now. I don't play as much competitive golf as I used to. So to me, it's more about the experiences and going in and sitting around with your buddies after the round and going, "I can't believe you shanked it on 3, and I told you were gonna hit it in the water." Not even. I tell you, you never get a wedge there. You think you hit the wedges further than you do, and you always end up in that front bunker. And that banter back and forth to me is more fun than if I go out and shoot a 70, it's fun, but I'd much rather be sitting in there and just ribbing and taking a ribbon from the boys and after what just happened. So I think the 19th hole, whether it's at a bar or just sitting at dinner with your buddies or whatever that 19th hole for you looks like, is the most fun part of golf.
yeah. It's all about who you get to experience the game with and the stories that come from it. Well,
Yes, definitely.
Brian, this has been a lot of fun, man. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing more about yourself and what you're doing with GolfCask.
I appreciate it. And if you want to join GolfCask, we are free for 2026. So just go to golfcask.com, sign up, and tons of content in there. Enjoy and reach out, and hopefully I can come play some golf with you.
Oh, we'd love it, man. That'd be a lot of fun. All
All
right.
right.
Well, for Brian and Jonathan, this is Robbie, and y'all have been listening to another episode of the Whole Story Podcast.